Okay, so hi everybody, and welcome to I believe this is our fifth Soul Sync Up. So if we look at the number 5, it is about simplify. So let's just all kind of start by breathing into that. And I find it fascinating that this date had revealed itself to me, and it's the full moon. So we're going to ride some of that energy today too. So let's start as we know to do, and that's with connection. And let's just all put our hands on our hearts and breathe and come completely into this now moment. Just see how still of space you can create yourself, or create within yourself and within the space of the whole. Oh, nice. So we open this up from the energy of Florida to Minnesota to Karen's holding space in Seattle to wherever else anybody is of our group. And we allow that whatever's wanting to be revealed come through with grace and ease and serve the highest. And so it is. Okay, so welcome everybody. For some reason, I can't see everybody that's on the screen. I don't know why, but Sue, who do you see?
It's Diane.
Oh, there's Diane. Okay, great. Hi, Diane. Yay. Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Bodhi. Hello. Yes, we see you.
Sorry,
We see you. Alex, I do. Give an extra one.
Bodhi, Layla. That is my son's dog. I'm babysitting.
He's like, wow, what about us?
No, I'm putting myself on mute.
Okay. So, wow, that could be a sign. The dogs are all barking. Let's breathe into that because nothing happens by accident. Look at Bodhi's like, So let's just kind of breathe into that. I felt that when I said that the dogs are barking. So, let's just get curious with that one. The dogs are barking.
They're alerting us to something.
Don't you feel? So go ahead and chime in if anybody gets anything with that. I do feel the alerting. I feel like something's coming loud. Loud. So, but anyway, so welcome everybody. We're going to start as we always do. I want to hear and have everybody contribute their beautiful soul's energy to this sacred circle, and just hear what's soul up here for you guys. So Linda, since you're on my screen, you get to go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just kind of playing with the full moon, actually, the full moon energy. And it's been kind of interesting. I thought yesterday I felt a lot of energy just kind of revving up, I'd say. And I ended up taking 2 long walks. So that tells you something about the energy that and it was just great to be outside. And today just feels really different. So I've been feeling kind of every day has been a kind of a different experience. And so I've been meditating more on that. I've just been meditating a lot. And I can't say that I've come up with anything definitive here, but I am feeling the energies.
Yeah. And I agree. I feel like it's not like we're getting intel, if you will. It's more that we're experiencing all these energies. It's more of a feeling than really any kind of information or clarity. So I would agree. I would agree. So good. All right, Trudy, you popped up next for some reason.
Well, I've had an interesting couple of days just paying attention to energy. I kind of feel like I'm working somewhere else.
Wow, I feel that. Is there any way
Um,
you can turn on your camera or so we can see you or not?
I don't know how to get that
Okay.
without
Okay.
losing.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Okay. Carry on.
Um, so I just feel like I'm working somewhere else. I mean, I'm physically here and I'm aware of being here, but I don't know. I don't know that there's words for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing work on some other level.
Yeah.
And then also just paying attention to how stuff just comes out of the blue. Because like I had a major meltdown related to some stuff with my dad, and it's just kind of like, hello, can everybody just please do their job?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
And so Trudy, how can we support you?
it just helps to be on the call.
Okay. So let's all just kind of join together with our hearts and let's just send Trudy some heart energy. There you go. Did you get that, Trudy?
I did, thanks.
Yeah, you are welcome. And thanks for showing up and contributing. So, all right, Jennifer, how about you?
Yeah. Let's see. I'll start with today because today I'm noticing some movement, like things are opening up a little bit, like and a really nice groundedness
Nice.
connection. Yesterday felt all different as well, but in a completely different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, and the day before that, I mean, like there's new things coming all the time, and there's things that look scary, but I'm not being scared. I also, a new thing I'm getting used to in my home is I have a new cat, and so we're getting used to each other. So that's very sweet.
Wait, what's the name?
Her name is Jade.
Jade, look at the J. Okay.
Yep, and she's 5.5, so she the house where she was living, they couldn't keep her anymore. So a friend was looking for home, and I had met her previously, and I loved her since the first time I met her, and I just got an immediate yes. And so it's sweet.
Oh, it just feels really, really nice, Jennifer. So
She makes me laugh all the time. It's like, oh yeah, Joy, thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
Just plays to play, and she just goes 100%, like from 0 to 100. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Oh, how awesome. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Good. Well, welcome and thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
So, Sue, why don't you share next?
Yeah, I guess for me, my focus has shifted a little bit here this last week as I've been kind of turning in with some concerns about health for myself. So seeing naturopath and just looking at, how can I support myself to be even more healthy, detoxing, and just a lot of stuff. So that has been my focus. The energies feel, I feel overall really, really good. I guess March has been, feeling really okay for me. So I don't know that I can say that there's anything that's jumping out. That's,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah. Well, and why don't we all come together as the masters, we all are, and support Sue in her physical vehicle right now. So if you just open yourself up to receive,
Okay.
and let's all just send her some healing / holding, remembering energy to her vehicle. Yeah. Did you feel that, Sue?
I did.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was nice. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And I just want to put this caveat out as we're all, I'm hearing muddling through, you know, sometimes it might feel muddy, muddling through this time, that if you feel like you would like some sister soul support, part of what this group is about is I sense there would be times where we wanted extra support. And so you can send me a text and we can put something out there. We could even come together, you know, spontaneously or, you know, through our awareness, whatever. But don't be afraid to ask for support, because that too is a function of this group. It is for that, because we've all come together for a reason. And we've done this rodeo before, or we wouldn't be here. So we can really access our mastery now in a way we haven't in the past. So thank you, Sue.
Helpful to know too. That's
Mhm.
yeah.
Diane, are you there? With dogs and all?
I
Yep.
am here.
Oh, hi, Bodhi.
He's used to the energy. Layla is not.
Oh, okay.
She's having a hard time. She keeps going underneath my desk and crying.
Mm.
That's my son, oldest son's dog, and she's 10. And Bodhi is mellowed and gotten used to it. But
Hi, Bodhi. Look at how cute.
if Layla starts barking again, I'll have to, because she has a very loud bark. Yeah, here she comes. So
She heard her name and she's like, "Who? You talk about me?"
for me, it's just it's interesting because when things are calm in my life, which they are right now, no one's bugging me on the outside world, my family or anybody. I tend to not focus on all my daily stuff as much. And then when things get a little harder or something's going on, then I'm like running to it, you know? So it's kind of funny. It's just really been calm yesterday and today, and things were going really smoothly. And I just felt really calm and content, and you know, I was been grounding and stuff, but anyway, so it's been a good thing.
Nice. Well, that's, you know, you're due for this, some calm. So that's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. So cool. Is there anybody that is on that I haven't acknowledged? No. Okay. And like I said, Jennifer Miller should be joining us probably shortly. Well, I'm going to share a little bit. It's been a very interesting experience being here. Now, remember, I was here in January, and it was like a whirlwind. Like, I hit the ground running and just went as fast as I could go. The energy is very, very different this time. And it's like what I'm here for is different. And so it's, you know, and I'm just open to whatever. And, you know, I've had some sessions, but I really have felt like it's more small group gatherings this time than individual sessions. So like today, for instance, there was a gal that bought the Avasia in January, and then one that had bought it 2 years ago. And I had reconnected with her, and I said, well, why don't we do a training so you can kind of see my tips and tricks and how I use the instrument and stuff. And they're like, great. Well, then one of the gals, just shared it with her group. And so also there was these other people coming too that didn't have an Avasia, but they got to use hers, and they were really curious about it. So it's like this meant to be this coming together. Let's breathe into that, of what will be, is so determined at this point. And I mean, it never even occurred to me for her to put it out generically, but there's her soul's knowing, and just does it. And so, the other gals that came are very, very interested, and they might be buying their own. So more and more, I just feel like we get to relax in the human sense that we don't have to try to steer the wheel. And we must allow to what shows up moment to moment to moment and navigate it from there. So with that being said, I had my marathon, I call it, through March 1st, from February 11th to March 1st. And then I left on the early in the morning on the 3rd, and there was still a lot of things to get accomplished. So I just knew I'd be staying up all night, because my flight, I had to leave the house by 4:15 or something. And as you know, and you guys can tell when I put out the forecast, it's in the middle of the morning or whatever. But it was just like, oh yeah, this is just one more time now. It wasn't a big deal for me to do that. And I'm fascinated by, as we allow and let go of thinking, oh, I need to get some rest because I'm traveling or whatever we used to do, and just allowing what's presenting to us be enough, be okay. So then we get on the plane, and for no reason, the flight sat on the tarmac for like an hour and 15 minutes. Well, that works fine for me because I actually was tired. I just, I look at it, I got an extra hour of sleep, and so it's just amazing how these things turn out in a way you can't put together. So I land, I get off the plane, and there's Patty Reinitz. I'm like, oh my gosh, Pat, what are you doing here? She goes, oh, we came down, my husband and I, my son. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, the Orlando airport is quite large. And not only that, you take that out, the timing, right? I mean, I was in that place for maybe a minute that we could connect. And it's just, to me, it's just fascinating how this works. Then I get in the shuttle van, and of course, because it was late, I missed the one I was scheduled on, so I had to take the next one. And there were 3 people in the shuttle van. I go in, I go, George, what the hell are you doing here? Now, this George is not somebody I really know, but he was riding on the shuttle van the last time in January when I came down here. And we had just exchanged pleasantries, right? And I used a different company this time, not even the same company. And what has to line up? And he's like, oh my God. He goes, oh, now it's going to be a rowdy ride. And, but it was just like, wow, you can't make this up. I just look at, if the plane had taken off when it was scheduled to, then I don't know what that was for, but it was for something. So it's just this whole pulsation of where you're to be and when, and if you're attached, that's as soon as it gets hard. And that's when the stress will come in. But if you can just breathe through, there was a moment I land, I'm like, wow, I kind of feel worried because I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not even sure there's a different company. I'm not sure where to get it. Just like all this stuff. But then it was like, oh, I'll figure it out. And it was just like, I don't know, that was such an exclamation point when that guy was sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyhow, with that being said, what am I noticing here? This is really, I keep saying, I feel like we're in a bubble here, like a bubble from the world. Nobody's talking about that, whatever. Nobody's worried about the stock market. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, at least the people I'm communing with, there's none of that panicked energy about I'm not okay or I won't be okay. Somebody said the stock market went down, I don't know, 20,000 points or something today, or 2,000, or I don't know what it was. Dramatic, I heard. I mean, Sandy told me, because she was talking to somebody from Michigan that actually brought it to it. But otherwise, we'd have no clue. But people that are here, I mean, because of the nature of how this is set up, it is basically they get up, they exercise, they go to their activities, you know, they play. They really do play. And then, you know, I don't know, it's an interesting experience here. And with that being said, I look at it from this larger perspective of what I know to be true as far as the souls moving along. And I'm like, whoa, what's it going to take to shift these people? If they're in this complacency of, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Because not everybody's awake here. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still a very small percentage. I just happen to be hooked into that populace because of, you know, where I've been steered. But there's a lot of people that, you know, they're in these squares or drinking, they're smoking, you know what I mean? Like, and the first night we got there, and they have these town squares and they have live music every night. We walked around and I was just observing. And I go, wow, it reminded me of high school. Like everybody's dressed a certain way, got their flashies on or makeup or whatever. And then kind of doing what they think they should do. But I'm like, this feels strange to me. What's here? What's here? And I go, wow, there's no joy. I kept saying, oh my gosh, there's no joy. I'm not feeling any joy here. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, there's no joy. And so it's like they still could be working their 9-to-5 job and doing the thing they were doing because it's probably the same, you know, from a soulfully free space. So I just found that very, very fascinating. And today there was this gal we went to listen to, and she's a medium. And so she connects with the other side. And I felt inspired to go. And of course, there was this one person I was to meet. And it was obvious because all of a sudden my body turns. I start talking to this lady and introduce myself. And she was a lovely woman. She had, you know, she was all excited. She woke up, but she was so proud of her daughter because her daughter had opened up like some kind of new age shop in LA or something. And she's really into this stuff. And she's gathering all these people together and stuff. And she goes, oh, and she's talking to me. And she goes, oh my gosh, I feel like I got to connect the two of you. And I said, well, what's her name? She said, Julie. Okay, not like, you know what I mean? Like I always ask, make it obvious, you know? And well, it can't get more obvious than that. So, but it's without any effort. And so let's breathe into that, without any effort. So I feel curious if everybody kind of wants to share, do you have a reference of this, of which I'm speaking of, or do you have a reference of the opposite? Both are valid, because I could give you the reference of the opposite. Excuse me. In fact, I will. So on Friday, my friend Sandy that invites me down here, you know, she's like, well, let's go to some garage sales. And I said, oh, I feel that. Let's go. So there wasn't many. There was a couple. And we go to this one place. And of course, it's obvious for me. I walk up. I get this file folder full of random paper. And it's got some envelopes and some paper and stuff. And I asked the lady, I go, how much is this? Because there was no price on it. She goes, how about $2? And I'm like, oh, okay. To me, I know how much paper is, and I love paper. So, you know, I felt like I was going to use it for something. And I go to the cart, and Sandy goes, wow, I wouldn't pay more than 50 cents for that. And I said, well, I am to have it. Do you feel that? It's like, at this point, I can't care what it is, how much. I just knew it was for me. So I go back to talk with her, or to pay, and she starts offering up this information. She said, well, I said, you know, you can never have too much paper, huh? And then she goes, yeah. She goes, do you know, that was my husband and I had a business in Anchorage, Alaska. And that paper has traveled on barges and ships to get here. Well, I knew right away, I wanted the energy of Anchorage, Alaska.
Yep.
You know, that's what I was calling to me. And I don't know how come, you know, but that, as soon as she said that, I'm like, well, that's why I was buying it. It wasn't really for the paper, you know, it was for that energy. And it was just the way she offered it up. And it's just like, wow, there it is. So then Saturday, Sandy had gotten the paper, and there was like 43 garage sales in one neighborhood, 26 in another, just loaded. Just tons. And so she's like, oh, let's get up early and go garage sailing, then we'll go to the farmer's market. I said, well, okay. So we get up and we go, and I, you know, at this point, I feel like I had, and I also gotten some Play-Doh. I had gotten some Play-Doh. Brand new Play-Doh, the little containers, there was 5 of them. And so I was excited. So I felt like I had gotten what I was to get from garage sales, right? And so anyway, so I thought, well, it'd be fun. So anyway, we go. First of all, she's frustrated because she can't find the place. And then, you know, it was like snafu. And the few we went to, and there was like nothing there. And I wouldn't even get out of the cart after a while. I said, I'm not even getting out. I said, I know there's nothing there for me. And so finally, Sandy surrendered and said, well, clearly, I don't feel like we're supposed to be garage sailing today. I said, no, I only feel the farmer's market. So it was just like, but there was all these experiences of hard, because she was trying to either recreate an experience or thinking she should, because, well, there was a lot of them, and you can find really cool stuff. And she really has found some really cool stuff. So, but it was so obvious, you know, I kind of got sucked into with it for a split second with her. And after that first garage sale, I knew this wasn't for me that day. So does anybody want to offer up an experience or an example of either side of that?
Well, I will. I was looking for some kind of medication thing for my dad, and I had this awareness that I should order it from this one particular company. But instead, I felt like I had to go out, because I like to see and touch things before I get them, just to kind of tune into the energy of it sometimes. And so I went out today to look for this thing, and I got to the store, and there wasn't anything there for me. So I ended up coming back, and it was kind of like, in some ways it was validation to just trust my knowing, and to just, that I should have just ordered it from this particular company and been done and saved myself a trip. So, you know, it's just a classic.
Yeah. And it's like, we've been here enough times, right, Trude? We don't need any more references. It's like, I don't require this anymore. And then part of this is, the universe is saying there is no reason. So let's breathe into that. There is no reason. And both ways. there's no reason for whatever anymore. Like there is no reason for this behavior to continue. There's no reason for this, or there is no reason, period. Meaning anything goes now. There doesn't have to be a reason for anything. And that's like, I don't know about you, but that's like a whole nother level of something we haven't experienced yet. Like there is no reason. There was no reason for the plane to sit on the tarmac for an hour and 15. They didn't come on and say they were having mechanical difficulties. They didn't say they were whatever, waiting in line. There was no reason, but there we were. So, you know, you want to keep that in your awareness as things may not be going the way you want them to, but there really is no reason here anymore. And to me, that I don't even know if I have it yet. I can feel that energy of it, but I don't really have it. Does that make sense? So is there anybody else that wants to share?
Well, I will. I had a strange experience during a meditation a few days ago. And I was really into the present moment, I thought, anyhow. But anyhow, I heard a man say, "It is, but it isn't. I am, but I am not." And he just kept saying these statements. And I began to think, oh, how freeing this is. That I can rid myself of this structured way of thinking. It is, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have to live this really structured life thinking that I have to do things in a certain way, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So I was going with the flow is what I thought. And I understood that there really isn't a right or wrong with a lot of things that we put meaning to. It's not right, it's not wrong, it just is. And so I kept on thinking along those lines, and I realized that, gee, I could release a lot of fear this way, because you know what? Whether it is or it isn't, I still exist, and all is well. And there really are very few rules. We make all these rules for ourselves. So I thought it was really an interesting thing to hear this man, whoever it was, say to me that I can look at things and not have a predetermined expectation, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's freeing to me. That was very freeing. So it kind of helps me in my thinking about all the stuff that's happening in the world today. You know, I'm going to be just fine. I still exist. And it's maybe, is it right, wrong? I don't think it's, you know, it's whatever. It is or it isn't, but it doesn't really matter.
No, because I am soul and I'm everlasting. And
Right.
that's the elevation into the soul perspective versus the human playing the game, you know?
Right. So this was a very freeing experience for me, just to sit and ponder that. And man, you can really relax into something like that. So I thought it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was my journal, because that was worth keeping.
Definitely. Oh, thank you for sharing. Because that's another way to say what I've always said is I cannot not be okay here.
Right.
You know, I cannot not be okay. Well, blah, 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 blah. Well, I cannot not be okay. And dropping the I'm not okay, I won't be okay. Remember, those are those two core beliefs that have dominated the human's behavior and our choices and reactionary state. Well, I cannot not be okay. The one thing I liked about this, the experience, the medium that spoke today. Now, she was in the Navy. She was a general or something for 30 some years. And then she becomes a medium. You know, I mean, when she woke up, it's pretty funny. But she did it through the death of her stepdaughter, who was young. and through that grief. And she, you know, she was just like, she had a really, really lovely presentation. It was more geared to proof about how things came through, and then the evidence people would bring to her after the fact through pictures or whatever. And so it was really geared for people maybe just saying, you know, the other side is real, and that these people that pass are right here. We're in this web where everything is, and they're right with us right now. And they're not on the other, they're not even over there, you know, everything's here. So it was a great, just another way of hearing someone else share these ideas about soul. And so, like, especially for people that have lost children, and that's basically, she leads up a group or something about helping parents heal or something. But just the stories and how these beautiful souls that decided to leave young really did so that they could shift and work from a different perspective. It was just, it was really, really fascinating. So, but just checking in with yourself. The noise is getting loud out there. It really is. It's getting louder. And there's plenty of people, you know, feeling that energy of, I'm not okay, I won't be okay. So, but I thank you, Linda, for sharing that, because I love how everything just is. And that is so true. So I had talked to this gal, and then I was going to come, she followed us home, and she was going to do a session. Well, Sandy had stayed, and the door was locked, so we didn't have a key to get in the house. So I'm like, okay, well, this is here, you know. And so then I said, oh, apparently we're going to do it on the grass, you know, just the grass here. And then we had put out all her crystals last night, and they were still sitting on the driveway. So I had all these crystals to work with, and I had all this, it was almost like it was planned. Do you know what I mean? So we sat on the grass. I had all these cool crystals that had been charged in the moon energy last night. And it was a very cool experience. It wasn't whatever, but it was the way that it was to be. And for her, it's probably more powerful, given her situation, to have it outside. So things are getting to put together in a way we cannot think. And to the degree we're attached to thinking is the degree that we're going to feel like this is painful. But we all know there's freedom and flow in letting go. Hey, put that on a bumper sticker. That just came out like that. I know, freedom and flow and letting go. I like it. Welcome, Jennifer. I think Jennifer Miller, you joined us, did you not?
I
Is she
did.
here?
I,
Yay!
I got home and I flipped open my laptop and saw the email that said, "Hey, I'll be dialing in about 7:30ish," and yeah, it was still there. Never went anywhere. So.
Oh wow! So perfect. Well, actually, I did receive it though.
Oh, you did?
You know, yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
There you go.
To be. So why don't you go ahead and just kind of share, what are you noticing, experiencing, picking up from what's going on right now?
You can tell the thinking, it seems people are in a painful spot, or in a just, you know, even at work is where I observe it most. That just can't get their head around it and are like just in a spin or a swirl.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and don't you see that the thinking is really draining people? The people that are really still stuck in their head, let's say,
yeah,
they're getting, I mean, it's wearing on them fast.
yeah.
And so, yeah, if they're not open to, and they don't even have to be open to all this what we're doing. But if they aren't open to another possibility here, whatever that means,
Yep.
might be another way of looking at their situation or work or whatever, that's getting really painful for people quickly. So now that I hear that song, the heat is on, it's on the street, yeah, the heat is on, you know, and I do experience that with people. So we were just sharing stories about, or experiences about this, how letting go actually brings you to these amazing places, right? In ways you can't think. This is just another experience I had today. So Sandy wanted to take the golf cart to this recreation center, and I was like, well, would have been fine taking the car, but she loves the golf cart, which is fine. And so then I was sitting there in the cart, I was ready to go. And then she's kind of doing her thing back and forth. And then all of a sudden she sits in the cart and she goes, oh, I forgot my water. So she goes back in the house again and comes back. And in the old days, I would have just felt really annoyed by that point. But today I'm just like, well, clearly, again, timing. There's some kind of timing. So we start going, and then she hadn't really gone through her feelings from a previous experience, so it started getting backlogged with her frustration because she wasn't sure where she was going then. She was worried she's going to be late. And I said, Sandy, I said, this doesn't work for me. You know, I said, you got to go through, you're feeling pushed because you didn't have it. And she's like, oh yeah, good reminder. And she started going through her things, and then she felt okay. Well, you go through these tunnels, because the big thing about the Village is you're supposed to be able to get anywhere by golf cart. So they have roads to go anywhere. You don't even need a cart. Now this is like 50 square acres. I mean, it's large. So that's quite a statement. But anyway, so we're going through these tunnels, and she turned, and she was just going, and I see this thing fall off the cart in front of us, and all of a sudden I go, stop. And she stops. She didn't even see it. I run back and get it, and I pick it up. It's the lady's cell phone in front of us, and her wallet. All her credit cards were in there. And so I'm like, okay, I said, catch up with that cart. And so we started going, and I said, well, hopefully she has to stop somewhere, so at least we can catch up with her. And so anyway, it was a ways down the way, and I'm like waving it out to the side, trying to get her attention. And she finally sees me and pulls over, and I said, are you missing this? She's like, oh my gosh, thank you. I said, yeah, you might want to secure it a little bit more. Did you feel that? So, but had we left, and had she not done that last trip in and out, we would have been ahead of her. And someone maybe less aware would have been coming buzzing around that corner and run over the darn thing. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's that, you know, as we say, hands off the wheel, and just know that it is. What did you say, Linda? What did the guy say? It is, but it isn't?
But it isn't.
Yeah, it is, but it isn't.
I am not.
Yeah, I am, but I am not. And that is so true. And another way I guess we could look at this is putting us into this state of neutrality. You know, it's and some people call it the 0 point field, some people call it source, some people call it whatever, but it is in that energy where there isn't a pull either way. And that is some of the best way to navigate right now. So is anybody else want to share? Or are we complete with that? Going once, twice, gone. Okay. how is everybody liking the chakra exercises that were part of the forecast?
Really good.
You want to do those.
Yeah, I like it.
If you haven't been, you want to, because it really is building this solid foundation for moving into next.
Can I
And
ask a question about
yes,
technical question?
mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
a circle, and so I'm not. I'm when I'm doing it, I'm not sure if it's horizontal, if it's vertical, if it's flat.
Oh, that's good. So
I've just
that's
been doing different for different chakras for what feels right, but it's it's messing with my head a little bit.
Right. Well, at first I just saw it as a ring, like a circle ring. Okay. That's how I experienced it, and then putting it in. But I mean, the ring could be filled in, right? Which would make it more of a circle. So I feel like that it can be either, if you're imagining it as a ring, like an orange circle ring, and then put in, or you could do it, filled in. The one that I feel is interesting is the one for the heart, because that really is, it's like you almost make it a torus. So then it's more of a multi-dimensional. That is probably where you went into, because what you're really doing is putting that, let's say, a ring of orange, and then letting it expand into, like a donut, like the torus field, right?
Yeah.
So how I have experienced it is it starts as a ring, and then it kind of morphs, into if it needs to be a solid circle or not.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that's helpful.
Yeah. So, but I really like that. And I'll have to tell you, they were not saying a whole heck of a lot about March until we got into March, until we could get into the energies of March. There's like less and less do we get stuff ahead, because I feel like just everything's in influx here, that it's changing so much moment to moment. Now, I did chat with Mara yesterday, and what was the verbiage that she was saying? Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, here it is. They kept telling her there's more to this. So let's all breathe into that there's more to this. So remember, as we're casting a 4, and in this energy, it's gather, 4 is gather. We are supporting with, Mara supports us with ways in which we can have the best possible supportive experience through the month. Okay. And then also it's kind of nice that she works with us as a group to support us as well. But they kept saying there's more to this. And then they were saying the alchemy is unlike before. So let's breathe into that. The alchemy is unlike before. So, I mean, again, another way to say that, and words are getting so interesting, but this is unlike anything we've ever experienced. I mean, myself included, the human still wants to look and say, well, this is like this, because it wants to reach behind you and say, and pull that forward and say, oh, I know what this is. This is like this. And basically what I feel like they're saying is, this is unlike. This is unlike. And so you're like, oh my, this is unlike. And again, it's this, we were in the town square and we heard that song, Grease Lightning, or You Better Shape Up. That song by Grease. But it's we're shaping up, and shape doesn't have form. We've lived in form. So we can't, it has to be unlike before, because it's working with shape now. And I had this really fascinating experience. So I told you I bought some Play-Doh at the garage sale. And there were these 5 little pods, and they were 5 different colors. And, you know, I have no idea what I'm doing till I know, but we were doing some kind of soul immersion experience again. And I had said, okay, everybody take some of every color of Play-Doh, and then you're going to merge them together, merge the colors, and you're going to make a shape. Let hand or your inner child make the shape that wants to be. Don't be attached to what the shape is. Just let hand do it. So that was the exercise. So I started observing, and first of all, there were some people that just didn't want to meld their colors. They're like, I want to keep them all separate. Do you feel this? They didn't want to merge because, I mean, it so showed unconscious beliefs, right? They're like, I know I want to be able to use it again, or whatever they were, you know, whatever, but they didn't want to merge. And then there was this one lady who, oh my gosh, she took the most, I mean, it wasn't even the smallest pebble size of each color. And I'm looking at it, and they're in her hands, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can't pass this one up. You know, I mean, like, wow, what do you suppose your unconscious is telling you here, you know? And then calls this time where she said, I remember I was 5 years old, and I took a whole sheet of paper to draw on, and my dad went off on me and said, dare I didn't deserve a whole piece of paper. And do you know what I mean? But look at how that imprinted upon her unconscious, and it still was playing out here. And it was just a powerful exercise. And then it was such a beautiful learning experience for everybody. And people could see so clearly how these unconscious beliefs play out. So you might want to do that exercise. Get yourself some Play-Doh and just see what happens. If you know what I mean? Like, what does hand do with it? It was a very powerful way to excavate some more beliefs. And but at this time, I'm hearing the word notching. That's interesting. We are notching. I have no idea what that means right now. Let's breathe. We are notching. We are notching. We are notching up the soul tree. Okay, well, thank you. That helped. We are notching up the soul tree. So if we are notching up the soul tree, that means that we are going to get farther and farther away from those beliefs. And if we hang on to them or don't acknowledge them and let them go, they're showing me there's going to feel that, like, this stretch, like you're going to be stretched. So that's why the journaling is so, you know, very, very significant. Look what you got through your meditation and journaling, Linda. You know, how that was just like, that gave you that perspective of, oh yeah, wow, it's so true. And sometimes one of the best exercises you can do in this radical honesty is saying, you know what, if I had a fear, what is it? And we're not saying you do, we're just saying if I had a fear right now, what is it? And just kind of sit with that. If I had a fear right now, what is it? What would it be? And see if there's a deep underlying fear that wants to emerge that you may not have considered. Because all this at deep levels are clearing out. And how many people have experienced that soul emotion level, that core 4 of soul? Not necessarily so human. Who said yeah? Trudy?
Trudy.
Yeah. What have you noticed with that?
It just comes up out of nowhere, and it's very, very powerful.
Mm-hmm. And And then it's not that big a challenge though to clear, is it?
No, it's up and it's out.
I feel that.
And then there's no residual whatever with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's what
it's
I meant
gone.
about powerful.
Yeah. So my sense and what I'm experiencing with people is that the soul anger or the soul worry or the soul lonely or the soul sadness, it just requires that awareness, and you just kind of acknowledge it and breathe, and it's gone. It really isn't a deal to move through. It just wants that consciousness. So
I was going to say something too with
Sure.
regard to that. So, doing the ritual, the morning thing that I do, I've been sitting on the floor, which feels really nice, just to feels grounding more. So I've been doing that now versus sitting in a chair. And as I'm doing some of these things, I do feel coming on every once in a while a really deep emotion to the point of crying, but I can't really identify what it's even related to. It's there. It's not there very long, but it's just there. So I don't know if that's, what that is.
I mean, typically, if you can't identify it, it's coming from maybe another time or another space, deeper space, I would say. But yeah, thank you, Sue. And then just allowing it. See, if you are not giving yourself time alone, it's really challenging to allow these things be revealed to you, because it does require that alone time, because between sitting there with you and your soul really, and allowing it to just move through you, and so when this lady, I go back to the medium today, and she was talking about this one person, and the child had come, and all of a sudden tears came, and I felt sad and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is soul sadness. I must have had similar in a lifetime. Do you feel that? Where I lost the child, and or maybe it was even that soul, who knows? But it was just there. And but these soul emotions are, I almost want to say they're yummy, which sounds strange, but because they come from such a deep place and they're rising up to be cleared, it feels so good to just let yourself ride it, to let yourself have it and be done. Yeah. So, well, thanks for sharing that, Sue. Anybody else notice?
I've noticed, like the last 2 weeks, it seems like the emotion that emerges as worry.
Okay.
I've had a couple bouts of just like even driving in the car, random like sadness, but like Trudy said, it goes, like you feel it, you acknowledge it, give it voice, and it goes.
Yeah.
So was trying to, of course, the mind wants to figure out why the pattern of worry, but I've noticed that just for me in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. And along with this, I do want to add this caveat just to keep us aware. And that's the interference has amped up once again. So, let's just kind of breathe with that. And again, it's important to know thyself, right? To know when wow, yeah, this doesn't even feel like mine, but I feel sad, but it's not even mine. What's this, or whatever. And to remember to really clear pretty frequently. Anything that is not of the highest love and light must leave. That's my quick one.
Mhm.
And a lot, I believe I've shared with you my All Here Soul Clear, you know, to bring all of you into this now, all of everything on your stream, let's say, into this now present moment. This morning I was given a little extra to it, and I want to share it with you. So what they had me do is take my hands above, and do you feel this? Go up and down in front of my chakras. So let's all try it. Just do that and just experience what you notice. And then I did the All Here Soul Clear. Oh yeah, I feel that, you guys. What did you notice? Linda, what did you notice?
I'm noticing kind of a bleeding through kind of energy from each kind of mixing, maybe kind of a mixing of the chakra energies. I can feel that.
Yeah.
It felt good. They're not really so separate like you like you think they are. It was more connected.
Yes. Yeah, and I totally agree. I feel like, you know, last year we kept talking about this ever greater chakra experience, that the chakras have changed and they are more. And so I feel like what that does is kind of helps keep them all working as one, even though behind it, we still might have some individual energy. But this ever greater chakra experience is more in front of us because it's soul. And so I feel like that helps just kind of meld all those human chakras and merge it with that greater chakra, which is connected to the above chakra. And I feel like it's just a good way to kind of cleanse your field and keep you in alignment, whatever that is, all of you. So anybody else want to share what they noticed?
I'll just say the word that came to mind for me was just flow.
Flow? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Cool. Anybody else want to share?
I like to share one more thing again about those chakras, about the rings. So as I was reading through your description of how to work with these orange rings, all I had to do was just imagine it, this ring moving, that you had the ring moving into another chakra, down toward the root chakra. Like that, I could really feel that energy. It just ramped up and I could feel it move. And I just thought, wow, you're onto something here. I'm going to really work with those rings because they each thing that you had set out there felt different the way that I was using it. You really feel the difference in energy.
Yeah.
So that really felt good with using that orange ring, and with the heart you mentioned too, that Taurus feel. Wow, that was something else. So I just think that's a way of working with those chakras that, you know, I've been taught to work with them separately, and it just works so much better to work with them all, you know, move them around a little bit.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the feedback and sharing that. And I'll let Mara know that that was a valuable experience. I really feel it. I mean, I feel like it's very, very helpful. So, and remember that that's valid through the end of the month. I mean, we want to do that every day, and you might want to continue to do it beyond, or there might be a new color that might be introduced. We'll see. So
I just want to say one other thing, something I noticed, because the gear shifters that we have, when you shared that mine with me, I think that they were useful also for the chakras. Okay, so, and I continue to do that daily pretty much daily, but not always. Sometimes I, miss that. But I was doing it today. And so starting from the root going up. And what I noticed was it's more, I don't know, it just has more profound energy to it at each of those points. And I had noticed it being like that before, like it would be more or less depending on the chakra. And it seemed to be more even with all the chakras and a lot. And just, I don't know. So whether that is doing the other exercise with it or just the expansion, I don't know. It just felt interesting as I was doing it today.
Yeah. Well, and again, we're in a different place, and everything we're experiencing, what does it say? Alchemy is unlike before, or whatever I said. I want to look. Yeah, the alchemy is unlike before. So all energy putting together with other energies is alchemy. So you might even want to start using that word, just going, wow, when you're cooking, wow, I'm doing alchemy. Just start bringing that remembering through from those times. And I was sharing with Sue earlier, she was talking about researching a product and stuff. And I said, wow, I really see like the alchemist coming through in the way you're perceiving products and ingredients and things like that.
Well,
Yeah,
well, I have to say, it's been interesting because what came on my radar here lately was some, what do you call them? Like Supplements Revealed was one. So it's a series of episodes with a lot of doctors talking about a lot of things that I find that interesting. I really got very into it. So 9 episodes, each one 3 doctors or someone that just specialized or got interested, maybe through their own, degenerative health, that just brought them into another awareness. And so you start looking at different products in a whole different way. And it appeared for me, I don't know. And then I just watched another series that came in that I found fascinating, but all related to health. So why is that all coming to me right now? I really don't know. But of course, I've always liked health, but it's just interesting that it's right now very, very compact, lots and lots, the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm just riveted to it. And whatever. And it triggered me into looking at some other things that I may have done in the past that have been brought to the surface again. So, and I know our bodies are changing. I know that I don't necessarily want to, be hooked into, certain things, but I also want to be more aware because I don't feel like we've ever been taught about our bodies. We just really don't know the ins and outs of our body and how do things affect us. And what I'm learning is that even with supplements, taking them, you can't really do justice to them unless your body's clean. So it's the detox, it's the, just, you do this with your car, you change the oil. Do we do that to our bodies? Do we? I mean, I had to look at myself and it's like, I've not done a good job with that. Therefore, I want to do more to create that vessel that can take in, because I do want to take care of this. This is how we're going to get through this. Is through our physical, even though our soul is obviously it's huge, it's immense, but I can't do that unless my body is in good physical shape to take that on. So I don't know. That for me is what's come up recently. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, and there's that we can all feel Sue's soul passion behind that, so that's always an indicator of like, wow, I've done this before, this is coming back to me now, and that's why I feel like I want to engage with it again. So,
Right.
yeah. So thank you. All right. I'm just going to talk a little bit about a couple things, dates coming up, and just kind of highlight them a little bit further than the forecast took it. So on Wednesday, so we had the full moon energy tonight, right? Or today, and tonight. And I guess the moon was beautiful rising. I was getting texts here saying, oh, you should be out here looking at it. Well, I'm not. But it is considered a super moon, right? And somebody called it a worm moon, whatever that means. But there is this moon energy that is playing out. Where did I see this? Where did I say that? That is really working throughout this whole year. And the moon, you remember I talked about in January, the moon drop, and Mara had me draw that picture, right? And I think I shared it on one of the first webinars. But the moon energy is the divine feminine energy. And it is that silverish, that silver gold or white light energy of the divine feminine. And this being a full moon in the midst of this month of Amplify, so the feminine's getting amplified here. So that means the out of balance, apparently, I can't even say it, out of balance, my body doesn't want to say balance, it was a balance, masculine is going to be highlighted. And so with that being said, on Wednesday the 11th, you might want to put a little star by that day. It came through as calling itself high days, where the energy, I don't know if it means the energy is going to be really high, but it also referred to itself as flip over days. So there's a lot of different things that is going to occur on the 11th. And there are these junctions with the astrological support we're getting this month. And Arcturus and Mercury are going to have a huge impact that day. Then also Ceres and, now Trudy might have to tell me with this name, Hephaestus, Hephaestes. I wasn't familiar with that name. Is also going to be involved that day. And also it's a moon weight day. So the fact that 3 of these junctions are taking place on the 11th, in addition to it's calling itself a high day, which means a flip over day. We can just kind of imagine the energy might be quite intense, right?
Yep.
Just kind of imagine. So have that in your awareness. Make sure you take extra time before you get your day going to take care of yourself, to ground, to, whatever's there. And you want to be aware that if that much energy is moving around, that perhaps other people aren't going to be too present that day. Okay, so that's just something to have in your awareness. Let's see. And then there is, let me see what else I got here. So, I don't know what these were called. So Monday through Friday, there's these energies that are woven in through the weekdays. And if we look at the language's code, if we look at weekday as W-E-A-K, if it's a weekday, and Monday is moon day, right? it really was named after the moon.
Mhm.
Tuesday was named after, I don't know. But you got Saturday was Saturn, Sunday was the sun, right? So there's this weaving together of the weekdays. So just kind of breathe into that, kind of forward and back. And so what Mondays are considered a world day. So you can make this a little notes about this anywhere you feel, just to kind of have this. So Monday is a world day, but again, you must take in both definitions of world. So it's world and it's WHIRLED as well. So you got world and world, right? Tuesdays then are a self day. It's in relation to self in relation to others. Wednesday is a world amazed day. World amazed. So it can be the other way too, remember, world amazed. So if you look at that, Wednesday on the 11th of which I just spoke is also a world amazed day. So again, it's good to have an awareness that it could be that day. Thursday is another self in relation to the world. So a lot of things maybe at a soul level might be experienced as self in relation to the world. And then Friday is self world, both the self and the world. But it could be self world too, the WHIRLED.
Julie, what was Tuesday?
Self in relation to others.
Okay.
So again, not that we can, this is just something, you have it in your conscious awareness now, and you can just kind of be aware. Wow, I might be challenged, or things might be brought up about myself and how I'm in relation to the world or relation to others or whatever. And so you kind of have these things playing out all week. And then Saturday and Sunday then are the integration days. Okay. So they end up being these integration days of whatever it was that we experienced. And again, a lot of this is happening at so many different levels. We may not consciously have it, but it might be interesting to know it if you have a significant experience and you can go back and look and go, oh, or something happens in the world and you go, oh yeah, look at, we're being world amazed. Yeah, I'm amazed. And other people might be getting world amazed. You know what I mean? So that's just something else you guys can have as an awareness. Okay. Well, is there anything else that anybody wants to share? Otherwise, I feel like this is complete. So let's just all go around again and just kind of share whatever's here, maybe something you might have heard or want to reiterate or just want to give a voice to again. Sue, you're up.
I'm up.
Look at her.
I know, I was expecting to be up first. I feel like, March is an interesting month overall, and just a lot to keep in mind, I guess, as we go through. I like the chakra exercise that we're doing. I feel like it's enhancing the whole of the soul. And yeah, I'm always grateful for this, just bringing us all together, and the webinars that we have. So thank you, Julie. Even with you being far away, I mean, it never matters because we're all here. So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And we thank technology that we can do this, even if it isn't, what
Yeah.
we always have. So thank you. And thank you, Sue, for sharing your beautiful soul's energy with us tonight.
Sure.
All right, Linda, why don't you go next?
I like to see that with all the hubbub that's occurring right now, the virus and everything else, that we should remember to focus on the positive in relation to attracting positive in our lives, and not fall into that negative fear-based way of thinking. I think most of us are doing the right thing in our group, but I just run across a lot of people on the outside here that seem to be kind of in that kind of that whirlwind of anxiety. So focus on the positive. That's my
perfect.
thought.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for sharing all your beautiful soul's energy. Yeah. Jennifer Starbright, why don't you go next?
Yeah, the thing that stood out most for me is just something you kind of said, I think kind of as an aside, and I've heard you say it before, but it really, I wrote it down and it struck me more, like it impacted me more. It simply asks for things to be made obvious. I forget that. And so that just feels really helpful to me right now.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. And thank you for sharing your beautiful energy. All right, Trudy.
I just want to say that I really, really, really love the chakra exercises. And I have been playing around with them as I typically do with things. And it's been very interesting to see what shows up when I do that. And how you can play with the energy and interesting things. I mean, amazing things open up. So, I would love to encourage everybody to just kind of play around with that exercise. You can do it the way it's described, but play with it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed. And then also, the other thing that feels important to me is self-care, in the sense of caring for the physical body, because we're not just rising energetically, but the physical is coming along. So, whatever shows up in that arena, support the physical body as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you for showing up here. And is Diane still here, or is she with her dogs?
I'm here.
Yay.
I have it on mute. You must not be able to see me.
I can't, the way the iPad is, because I don't have my computer. So
excuse Layla. She's very upset. I think she has to go outside. But the thing that is helping, that I have really been noticing, and Julie, you've helped me a couple times to notice this, and so it's just become more obvious, is the soul emotions and the difference between the soul emotions and you doing the core 4 and all of that. And I've been going through a lot of that. And things I thought I had cleared up is coming back again, and I'm realizing it's more of a soul thing that's happened, whatever. So, that's been a lot lately.
Yeah. Well, and good for you. you know, good for you for recognizing that and
Well, it
knowing
took
that
me a
you can-
while to figure out the difference, but now
Yeah, now you
I think
got
I
it.
have it down. I'm not sure exactly, but I go through it anyway. But
There you go. Oh, awesome. Well, and so nice to have you on the call tonight. That's awesome.
yeah, thanks. It worked
Yeah.
out. So I
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. And let's see, last but not least, Jennifer Miller.
I do enjoy the chakra exercise, but I quite like the
Oh, the scalp.
like that. Just I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Just sits or sets with me.
Uh-huh.
Probably even more if someone else was doing it. But
Yeah.
but I do like that part of the exercise in the morning.
Uh-huh.
What else? Yeah, I find I have the core 4 emotion cards out on the kitchen table because I feel like you know, I can say, oh, you know, depending on what's going on in the house or what might appear for someone in the house, whether it's one of the kids or my husband, was, you know,
A little visual aid
a
doesn't
little
hurt,
visual, a
right?
little coaching, you know, to, you know, move
Yeah.
through it. But yeah.
Good. Good. Well, we're so happy you were able to join us and show up too.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and I say tag your id to Florida. I guess you're coming down here on Thursday,
Yeah.
right? So you
The
can pick
20th.
up. Yeah. So you'll pick up where I left off.
Yep.
So that'll be perfect. But I just want to say, I so appreciate this group of sister souls and that we can come together in this way and through our being that more support, more recognition, and more knowing flows. And it's so beautiful to be in a space where everybody shows up equally now and just is. And that's refreshing in a world that still is not there. So I just want to say thank you from my heart. Hugs from the energy of Florida. And yeah, that we want to remember that no matter what, we got this. We do have this. So I'm just gonna sign off with everybody and say heart hugs. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Julie. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.